Tonight, a bombshell lawsuit from a Hollywood star. Blake Lively is accusing her It Ends With Us co-star, Justin Baldoni, of sexual harassment. The complaint graphically details multiple allegations of harassment against both Baldoni, who directed the film, and the producer.
Blake Lively, a Hollywood favorite known for her charm and grace, is now at the center of a storm that feels straight out of a movie itself. She's suing her It Ends With Us co-star and director, Justin Baldoni, accusing him of sexual harassment and orchestrating a campaign to destroy her reputation. The allegations are intense, claims of inappropriate behavior on set, a toxic work environment, and even a high-stakes January meeting involving her husband, Ryan Reynolds. With both sides trading accusations, one can't help but wonder, what went wrong behind the scenes of this hit film?
It Ends With Us, which is an adaptation of Colleen Hoover's hugely popular novel. The movie follows a florist named Lily, played by Blake Lively, who's chasing her dream to open up her own shop.
It Ends With Us was one of those movies that everyone seemed to be talking about. Based on Colleen Hoover's best-selling novel, it tackled deeply emotional themes like domestic violence and resilience, making it a story that resonated with readers and, later, viewers. The book had already built a loyal fan base, so when the Netflix adaptation was announced, it immediately became one of the most anticipated films of the year. Blake Lively, known for her magnetic performances, was cast as the lead. Fans were thrilled to see her take on the challenging role of Lily, a character whose story is both heartbreaking and inspiring. Adding to the excitement, Justin Baldoni, famous for his work on Jane the Virgin, stepped in not just as a co-star, but also as the film's director. With such a combination of talent, the project had all the ingredients for success.
That speaks to Colleen's work. Like with the source material that we had a book that there was a story and emotional journey that resonated with so many people. So it was our responsibility.
When the movie premiered earlier this year, it didn't disappoint viewers. Audiences praised the performances and the way the film brought the book's emotional depth to life. It was an instant hit on Netflix, sparking conversations about the importance of its themes and earning a strong fan following. For a while, it seemed like everything was going perfectly.
Filed in California has made us aware of some big disagreements on the set. Now, it states that on the 4th of January, a meeting was held to address a hostile work environment. Now, the
allegations against Justin Baldoni are serious and disturbing, revealing a toxic atmosphere on the set of It Ends With Us. Blake Lively's lawsuit claims that both Baldoni and Wayfarer Studios co-chairman Jamie Heath engaged in inappropriate behavior that made the work environment unbearable. According to Blake, this wasn't a one-time incident, but a pattern of misconduct that escalated throughout production. One of the most shocking claims is that inappropriate images and videos were shown on set. It's hard to imagine how anyone thought this was acceptable behavior in a professional setting. Blake also accuses Baldoni and Heath of making deeply personal and unwelcome comments, including remarks about her weight and insensitive mentions of her late father, who passed away in 2021. For someone grieving a personal loss, this kind of behavior must have been incredibly hurtful and invasive. There are also allegations that Baldoni tried to push for changes to the film's script by adding sex scenes that Blake had not agreed to when she signed on. For an actress who trusted the project and its leadership, this would have felt like a violation of boundaries. Additionally, the lawsuit mentions unwelcome discussions about genitalia and other personal topics that had no place in a professional environment.
Now, the meeting was attended by Baldoni, who was also the film's director and the co-chairman and co-founder of Wayfarer, who the production company for the film. Blake Lively also attended with her husband and the Hollywood actor.
The situation reportedly became so unbearable that a meeting was called in January to address the misconduct. This wasn't just a casual discussion. It involved multiple parties, including Blake's husband, Ryan Reynolds, and members of the production team. Blake and her team presented a list of demands to ensure that the inappropriate behavior would stop and that the film could move forward in a safer, more respectful environment.
Things were so bad on set that her husband, Ryan Reynolds, joined a meeting to address Baldoni's behavior.
By January, the tension on the set of It Ends With Us had reached a breaking point. Blake Lively, feeling cornered and disrespected, decided something had to change. A meeting was called to address the increasingly toxic environment, and it wasn't a small, informal gathering. Blake showed up with her husband, Ryan Reynolds, standing firmly by her side, along with other key members of the production team. Justin Baldoni and Jamie Heath, who were at the center of the allegations, were also present. Before we continue with the video and my further explanation, I want to ask for your help. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subs by the end of the year, so I'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe and help me out. Okay, let's continue. During this meeting, Blake didn't hold back. She came prepared with a list of 30 specific demands aimed at addressing the inappropriate behavior that had plagued the set. She wanted to make it crystal clear what was unacceptable moving forward. One of her key points was that there would be no more discussions about Baldoni's alleged pornography addiction or any of his sexual exploits. This kind of talk, she argued, had no place in a professional work setting and only contributed to the hostile atmosphere.
There's to be no more descriptions of their own genitalia and no more adding of sex scenes outside of the script that Blake Lively had already approved when signing onto the project.
Another major issue was the script. Blake had signed onto the project with the understanding that the script would reflect the story she initially agreed to. However, she alleged that Baldoni had tried to add unapproved sex scenes that she wasn't comfortable with. In the meeting, she made it clear that there would be no more changes to the script without her explicit consent. For her, this was about protecting her artistic and personal boundaries. Blake also addressed deeply personal and inappropriate remarks that had been made about her family and her appearance. She demanded that any comments about sensitive topics, like her late father or her weight, stop immediately. These weren't just professional boundaries being crossed. They were personal attacks that added unnecessary stress to an already difficult situation. Blake Lively isn't just alleging harassment. She's also accusing Justin Baldoni and Wayfarer Studios of orchestrating a deliberate campaign to damage her reputation. According to her lawsuit, this wasn't just about isolated incidents on set. It was a calculated effort to paint her as difficult and unprofessional, all to silence her and discredit her claims. One of the central accusations is that Baldoni and the studio spread rumors that Blake had threatened not to show up on set. They allegedly portrayed her as uncooperative, suggesting that her actions jeopardized the film's production. On top of that, they accused her of refusing to promote the movie, implying that her lack of involvement contributed to its underperformance upon release. Blake's lawsuit refers to this as a social manipulation campaign. She claims the intent was clear: to make her appear as the problem and undermine her credibility. This, she argues, wasn't just damaging to her professionally, but also took a heavy personal toll. The impact extended beyond her career, affecting her emotional well-being and family.
It ends with us. Baldoni's lawyers tell TMZ the suit was designed to fix what he called Lively's negative reputation, and the claims are, quote, false, outrageous, and intentionally salacious.
Justin Baldoni has firmly denied all of Blake Lively's allegations, describing them as false and outrageous. Through his legal team, he has painted a very different picture of the situation, claiming the lawsuit is an attempt by Blake to salvage her own reputation, rather than address any genuine misconduct. According to Baldoni's lawyers, Blake was the one causing problems on set. They allege she made repeated threats not to show up for filming and refused to promote the movie once it was completed. These actions, they argue, created significant challenges for the production and contributed to the film's underperformance at the box office. His team insists that her behavior undermined the project and led to unnecessary complications during the film's release. Baldoni's response also suggests that this lawsuit is driven by personal motives, accusing Blake of deliberately crafting a narrative to distract from her own actions. His lawyers have framed the accusations as an intentional and salacious attempt to harm his reputation, emphasizing that he categorically denies all claims of inappropriate behavior. This lawsuit is about much more than just Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. It's a window into the deeper issues of accountability and power dynamics that have long existed in Hollywood. Stories like this remind us that beneath the glitz and glamour of the film industry, there are still serious problems with how people in positions of power treat those around them. Blake's decision to speak up highlights the risks faced by anyone who chooses to confront misconduct, especially in high-profile, high-stakes environments. Hollywood is an industry where reputations are currency, and going against influential figures can often mean facing backlash or being ostracized. For someone like Blake, who has a well-established career, this move shows not just courage, but a willingness to use her platform to shine a light on what she describes as a toxic and hostile environment. The case also points to a broader conversation about workplace culture, particularly in creative industries. Film sets are collaborative spaces, and when power is abused, it can create an atmosphere that stifles creativity and morale. Blake's actions bring attention to these often hidden dynamics and emphasize the importance of holding people accountable, no matter how powerful they might be. So, what are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below.